What's going on, everyone? My name is John. I'm a filmmaker slash creator and your host from Make Limited Podcast, where we talk about how to change our circumstances when life happens. In other words, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Today, we're talking about just live life. What's going on, everyone? So, once again, my name is John. I'm your host for Make Limited Podcast. Today, we're talking about just live life. So, before we get into it, once again, I want to thank you for tuning in, listening today on today's podcast, and just wanted to congratulate you on 1 month of 2021 has been completed. We are on day 2 of our second month of the year. And so far, there has been, a lot of things going on in our world, and still, there's still that uncertainty, but there's still hope, that is, shining through. But today, I want to talk about all these situations that you may be going through. You may be worried about how you're going to make your next payments. You may be worried about, college. You may be worried how you're going to continue school, how you're going to continue your jobs. You may be wondering what is next, what is happening. Maybe, you have hopes already that things are turning around for you. And I want to talk about, in a sense, on the topic, just live life. And the reason why I say this is because there are three things that I believe we get ourselves caught up in our human world. And for me, they're very simple, but yet we make them complex. And so the three things that I want to talk about today is: one, the worries of life. The things as humans that we worry about that really there is no worry that we need to do. Second is how we use the resource of this world. And the third one is how we treat each other. And all of this goes hand in hand, because I think if with one without the other, they can't run together. Not that they can't run together. One without the other, they can't exist. They have to, be together to always work in the system that as humans we've created. So let me explain this process. So in the process of when one is trying to not worry about things, but yet finds himself in the process of worrying about every single thing, it's caused by one thing alone, right? And that is the things that we can't have. We are at a place where we are in want because maybe our neighbors have something that we want. Maybe we've seen somebody on social media have a lifestyle that we want. Maybe we hear people over and over again talk about money and how they're making so much of it. Maybe it's a process where you see somebody and they're just doing so well for themselves, and you see yourself still at the bottom of the pit. We become worried about not having things before a certain time. And that only causes chaos. Why does that chaos cause? Well, that chaos is caused by not having money. Many people say that money buys happiness, and I don't agree with that, because I've seen it personally in my life when people have said this to me, and later on in their year, they face some trouble where they have all the money they needed, and it just puts them at a place that they're worse off than they were when they started without money. And I've seen this happen over and over again in my lifetime. And I've realized that money does not make you happy. What money does do, of course, is solve problems. And the reason why it solves problems is because, as money being the currency of our world, um, it is the one thing that can solve that situation, because every situation that you are in pretty much deals with having money. You know what I'm saying? Because when I got a heart attack, one of the things, the first thing actually that I even thought in my head was the bills I'm gonna have to pay. I'm gonna have to be paying these bills year and year and year in, year out, because that's that's the thing that comes first, right? If you don't have insurance, you have to pay. So, and even when you have insurance, you still have to pay, because there are some things that insurance don't cover because it's untold things or hidden fees. My point to this is that we as humans treasure stuff as like money to buy our problems to be solved, right? And this is where it comes to how we treat each other. And I find it very interesting. We treat each other according to class. Why? Because the more paper that you have, right? The more paper that you have, the more important you can be, right? And we've seen this. I've seen it so much of with just and talking about one of the businesses that I'm in the moment, and it is getting into real estate. One of the things that I've noticed in real estate is that you have the money, you can make things move quickly. And it's how crazy you can do something with just having the money, knowing what to do with it, and then just by speaking it, you can make it happen. It's crazy. But the most craziest part is that as humans, we treat each other because of that. The more money you have, the more people look up to you, the more people are like, wow, how did you do it? And ask you so many questions. And one of the funniest thing that I say in this area is that when it comes to money and how we value it and how we've come with this economic lifestyle as humans, it's literally paper that we take from the earth. We value diamonds because they're rare. We value gold because it's rare. And I find it so interesting how the more something rare it is, the more we value it. The more we, put it in a price of, you know, trophy or something that we just are like, wow. And the thing is that it's part of the earth. It's part of the earth, and we sell it to each other. Why? Because it looks pretty, it looks nice. And I come up with this concept, right? This concept that literally would destroy every economic, every social class, every belief, I would say, to a certain extent, um, that literally will erase those things from the earth: social class, money, worry. If everything became free, this is the one question that I asked myself, and I ask people as well. If everything is free, would you work where you work? Would people still do what they're doing? Some said yes, some said no, some didn't know. And it's not something, to be, I say, clueless about, because it is actually something that at times we can't wrap our minds around this question, because something to be free, you think about it and you're like, would people do what they do? Would people treat each other the way they do? which social class to exist. Will people try to create a a classified of groups of, you can't be in my group unless you accept what we believe or you accept what we do, and try to create this whole levels of classes once again. But what if everything was free? My question is to ourselves: would you do what you're doing right now at this moment? And for me to think about that is really important, because I think that comes a long way how we treat each other, how we treat this earth. Secondly, how our economy changes dramatically. Not only how it changes dramatically, but we ask ourselves, would we do something because we just want to, because our heart desires to do that? Or will we do it because we're really just working for the money? I've seen a lot of people say, it first started with, work on your hobby and do your hobby and side hustle, side hustle. And in reality, it turns into unconsciously, I would give the excuse of unconsciously, say that you're really just trying to survive and make money. And that's the whole point of side hustle, I know. But my point is, it's not really a side hustle. It's something that you're hoping that will like give you the ticket, or the lottery ticket to win millions of dollars. And so I started thinking about that money you have and how we treat each other, and how we move along this world, and we worry about things. And that question just literally blows all those three things away. And I realize, and I come to the point of this podcast: just live life. And I've talked about this before, what I'm going to talk about right now in this topic. And it's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple topic to understand. And it's: everything in this world is meaningless. Why? Because it passes, it fades, it dies, and then something new comes out. We come into this world, we're born, we're babies, we grow up, and then we pass. We create this illusion of economy that we need to have this much money, and we need to have this, we need to have that, and we need to do this and do that. But in reality, you work day in and day out to survive, and not one of those days do you take to live. I think we are at a point where we need to start living, and quit this worrying, quit this economy, quit this, treating people because of the classifications of income, and really come into an understanding that living is much better than worrying. Living is much better than being sick. Living is much better than trying to, just waste your life on doing things and getting nowhere. And and this is just to a certain extent of what I'm talking about. And the certain extent that I'm talking about is a perspective of: what if everything was free? How would you look at this world? That right there just makes me think about what we do now. What is it that you're doing now? And what would you do if everything was free? So I want to point you into this one direction. And I hope that this is encouraging and moves you forward through this year. And that is this: live, just live life. Live life to the fullest. Live life to everything that you're doing. That whatever you can put your hands on to do, do it. But do it by living. Live every moment. Live every opportunity Don't go blind. Don't turn your eye to others. Don't let hate. Don't let things that happen bad in this world discourage you from living life. You choose to live life. Help others to live life. Help this world so that we can enjoy this world and live in it. That right there, my friends, is an encouragement that I want you to take with you today. Live life. Please don't be stuck somewhere you don't need to be. Please don't put yourself in a position you don't need to be, because then you're going to be stuck with the economy, the classifications of people, how do you treat people, and worrying about your whole life. Don't do it. Live life. Live life to the fullest, because we are just mist. If you literally in the cold, if you just blow and you see that smoke come out and then fade, that is literally our lives. We are here one moment and then we're not here another. And so the circle of life continues, and our time is now. Not tomorrow, not yesterday, it is now. We live in the present, and that is where we should live life completely. So enjoy your life to the fullest and live it. Help others live it. And whatever you do, help this earth live better so that others can enjoy it as well. Can enjoy it as well. And that is today's podcast. And I hope that you were encouraged and you were motivated to keep on going on your way in this year. And I wish you the best. And we see you on our next podcast.